Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. This is gonna be short. I got shit to do. Actually, I have to go pick up our puppy, who's at her uncle's house right now. I had to work and do some stuff, and I thought I would stop by the studio and do some artwork. Try and get out of a little bit of a funk I've been in for the last, I don't know, few days at least. Pardon me, I'm trying to get this stuff still set up. Okay, I think we're good. I can never tell if this thing is working right until I go back and look at it. Shit. Come on now. Okay, I think I figured out what's wrong. Yes. Okay. I think I figured out what's wrong. There we go. Yeah. All right, we're good to go. Like now we can officially start the Draw Shit Show. Kevin Seconds Draw Shit Show. Get some music going. If you hear the music and it sounds familiar to you, not necessarily the songs, just the voice, you say, that's interesting. That sounds like Kevin's voice. It is. Until I can figure out how to not get strikes against my account for playing copywritten material of other artists, which I do solely because I love other people's music. And I like to share it with other people that maybe might not be familiar. That's a no-no on YouTube, and I get why it is because they're trying to pay royalties, and I, as a songwriter and a musician and a performer, part of my income it depends on royalties and copywritten material that I've worked very long and hard at making to share with the public. Anyway, yeah, I'm playing until I get figured out. I figure I'll play a bunch of my songs that are not officially publicly available. They were songs that were written for various projects. Similar to my current Patreon campaign, which if you're interested, by the way, you can check it out at patreon.com/Kevin Seconds. No, that's not the reason I'm doing this, although I should really start promoting it because, it's grown, it's getting bigger, but not in a major way, and I'd like to get more people involved because I would like to have some sense of community that I can, hang out with and try and entertain. But also, the money that I make from it helps me keep doing shit, keep the creative stuff, and it's really important for me to do it. When I'm not doing it, I don't feel like myself, and I turn into a real asshole. Ask my wife. If I'm not being creative and I'm not spending most of my time making music and art, I get surly and just, I start isolating, and that's fine if you're not in a relationship, or you're not helping to raise, fur babies. What the fuck happened? What happened there? What just happened? I just heard a up. Anyway, so yeah, for those of you who do support me, thank you so much. You know how much it means to me, and I'm trying to make this Broke Down Famous Social Club project fun and exclusive. Exclusive for outsiders, but inclusive for the folks that are inside. I don't know what that would be called. Doesn't matter. I'm working on a painting, as you can see. I've been doing some new. I gotta admit, I carry some guilt around because I paint these owls, and one of my great joys in life these days is painting these big weird owls. And because, I've gotten such great response and people buy these all the time, generally they sell very quickly, and more people want to see, they want a chance at, buying other ones that I do. I don't paint them all the time, I do, and I usually, when I do, they kind of come in like 2s and 3s, I kind of do like 2, and then sometimes I'll do a couple small ones, or I'll do a really big one. This is a bigger one. I believe this is a 10 by 20 size. It's acrylic on a canvas, basically. And I just finished 2 7 by 14s, which I kind of like to live with them for a little while before I put them up online or hang them up here at the shop, and give other people the opportunity to take them home and put them in their home or their office or whatever. It's really nice when people buy the art and then they send me photos of where the paintings are. It makes me very, very happy. I really like it. See, I'm getting a text from the little woman. Can I say little woman? Is that right? What is she? Well, I'll check in a second. I think if I try to read it, I'm going to interfere with. Oh, what just happened? What just happened, people? I'm not sure why I think I'm technologically savvy, because I'm really not. I kind of got that way in the 90s. I got pretty good at, really learning how this stuff works. And then everything got really crazy and fancy, and a lot more difficult to understand for those of us who aren't naturally built to be, computer folk. Anyway, this record, it's not a record. These songs are from 2017. I was doing a project that was Patreon based called Songforge, and it was really just a way to keep writing and recording music and making it available to at least, a small chunk of the population out there. Since it's been established that I'm basically a small cult artist, an artist with a cult following. That's what I should say. I don't have a big following. I'm not crying about it, People come out and see me play. People buy my records, my new releases. People support my Patreon and subscribe to my YouTube channel and friend me on social media. It's all great. I can't complain, and I do, but I'm not going to tonight. I'm going to express my gratitude. Really, this is all I want to do. And I need to, because I wanted to touch on something that I experienced recently, last night. A lot of my posts have been downers because of the loss of our wonderful boy dog Jackson, who just passed away last week. We still don't really understand what happened. Still don't know what the cause of death was. It was very quick, and it seems neurologically based. But the vets who did the tests and looked at them just still are kind of throwing their hands up in the air, and they're not sure what happened, which is concerning, because you don't really have an answer, and you don't know if it's something that we could have avoided. As far as we were concerned, Jackson was very, very healthy. But no, I don't want to get into the discussion. I have vowed to put my mourning of Jackson on hold. And that probably sounds really weird and shitty, but I have to do it that way. It's self-preservation because, well, one, my wife Allison, is on a 5-day out-of-town trip. This is a trip that she had been planning for months and months and months, and she considered not doing it after the Jackson situation. But it's important, and I wanted her to go. I thought it was like, look, it doesn't make sense for you to not follow through with your plans, because it's not going to help, and you may, it might be just the thing to help you get through this mourning process. I knew that I was going to have to kind of stay behind and work and help watch the other fur babies, kind of keep things, hold things down at home, more or less. But I've also been in a very isolated, sort of a lonely state. And, when you're by yourself and you have free time to think, it's not always a good thing. Sometimes it's a great thing, but sometimes it's really not. And some of us let our imaginations run a little wild, and we start thinking about, we start going backwards in our brains. Memories start to flood, and, next thing you know, you're just a big fucking tub of goo, and your day or week is completely ruined. So I was bound and determined to not let that happen. Once Allison left, which was last Friday, it's Tuesday night now. She'll be back tomorrow. Thank God. I really miss her, and I want to see her. But I do have, I suffer with anxiety issues, which a lot of us do. And my anxiety tends to flare up when I'm alone and isolated, and I start letting my mind wander onto sad, negative, weird things. And a thing like losing a loved one, or in this case, losing a loved one that is furry and cute and likes chew toys. It's brutal. It's huge. Anybody who knows Allison and I know how much we love our little fur kids. They're our kids, and we love them very, very, very much. And it's this one's extremely tough. Very, very, very short-lived. We didn't even have him for 2 months, which makes it almost harder, to be honest with you. And I want to know why nobody is here. This is bizarre. If you're watching, just at least type in and say hi. Not because I need attention, because I kind of do this stuff regardless of whether I think anybody's watching or not. But I've got I think I've got close to 1,500 people subscribed now. I feel like at least somebody should be in these chat rooms. Who calls from your area code? So I have to say that the songs we're hearing now were basically all written in the hey, Stez says hello, you're the best. Hey, thanks, Stez. Thank you, man. I just wanted to make sure that we're online, because I sometimes can't really tell, It's weird. It's very confusing sometimes for me. Keep in mind, I'm a middle-aged, guy that doesn't, I'm not in touch with all the cool shit. Seattle showed me a whole different side. So yeah, I was gonna say I wrote these songs and recorded them in the month of August of 2017, and I was on tour. I got invited to be a support act on the From Boston to Berkeley tour, which was basically, it was headlined by Rancid and Dropkick Murphys. The Selecter from England was also on the bill, and I was the opener. I was the acoustic songwriter, punk rock guy who opened the show every night, and it was amazing. Hey Toby, how you doing, man? Welcome. Thank you for saying hi. I appreciate it. I don't mean to hold anybody hostage. You guys don't. I understand. I like to sometimes go into like these like casts and not say anything. I like to work and watch or listen. So I'm not asking for everybody to be engaged in this. I just want to make sure that it's actually like online. I like the song. And I bet these are songs that none of you guys have heard. Some of you may have. If you were part of the Songforge thing of a few years back, you probably have. You probably own these. But most of the world hasn't heard these, And I like sharing them. This is about the only way I can share them, and I don't have to worry about getting a strike against my account. Because it's my shit. I can play my shit anytime I fucking feel like it. So yeah, I wrote a lot of these songs on a bus, on the tour bus, and then whenever we'd have a little bit of time, we didn't have a lot of time, a lot of free time. We played almost every night, but on the few nights where we'd have a night off, I'd wait for all of the crew on the bus that I was on to go check into their hotels, and I wasn't staying in hotels. I was living on the bus during the entire tour run. Everybody else was getting hotels and stuff, and I loved it. I love sleeping on a bus because it's very comfortable. There's a kind of a nice feeling about it. You just feel like you're on a camp out, deal. It's the closest I get to camping out, like sleeping in my van or sleeping on a tour bus. And I would set up my phone and I would record on my phone, the basics, like I'd have a little drum track, a little guide track, and then I'd set up my mic and I'd kind of record the guitar part. Maybe I'd add a keyboard part, a melody. I'd do a little scratch vocal track, and then I saved everything. And when I came home from tour, I just got right to work. I started to work on these songs, put them in my recording setup at home, and went to town. And so these songs are all kind of inspired by that tour. This song is called Really Got Nothing on Me, and it was, I wrote it just after a show in San Luis Obispo. And it was kind of inspired also, too, by this woman who, on a friend's Facebook page, had some real, not so nice words, not so kind words about my performance at that show. She thought I sucked, and she thought it was lame that a punk rocker was playing an acoustic guitar opening for Rancid. You're a Mom Waterworth. You are way easier than me, Kev. I cannot even sleep on an air mattress. Well, I don't sleep well, that's for sure. Let me turn this down. Wait, hold on. Okay, cool. Yeah, I sleep like shit most of the time. I mean, I've just kind of resigned to the fact that as an adult, I'm never going to really sleep solidly ever again. And to be honest, when I was a kid, I didn't sleep well. When I knew I had to go to school at like 7 in the morning or whatever, my mind would be racing, and I'd sometimes sneak listening to like a transistor radio, and I just was so excited about the next day, that I couldn't sleep. I still do that. Like, I did that recently. I just started a new job, and I was Monday was my first day. And, it's a job, man. It's like I got to go and work and probably not make as much money as I deserve to make, and, deal with fucking, supervisors and fellow employees and shit. But there's something, it's kind of exciting. You don't know what to expect. Maybe it's going to be something you like. Maybe you're going to hate it. Maybe you're going to get in a fist fight. Maybe you're going to get written up for insubordination. You just don't know. And I love to watch you make visual art as much as I love listening to you make art. Well, thank you, my friend. I am here to entertain. I'm also here to express myself because, like I say, when I'm having a bad time, when things aren't going as well as they are known to go in my life, I find that the best way for me to deal with it is, instead of going into isolation mode, which I'm really good at, a little too good at, and when I say good, I mean bad. I wanna be able to kind of run over to whatever community that I'm connected to quickly and hang out, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I don't go out to shows much anymore. I'm not a drinker, so I don't go to bars. I don't bowl. Sometimes I bowl, but I'm not that great. So, unfortunately, and I know that it's irritating for some people, especially my friends that are sort of like technologically challenged, they don't really like that I do these things because they don't want to have to come hang out with me on YouTube or Facebook. I get it. I just don't have an answer, Oh, honey, Jackson, my name's... Yeah. I started to say that I'm in a suspended mourning mode. I haven't allowed myself to really start mourning because I'm alone right now. Allison's out of town, and the night that it happened, the night that he passed, I was just absolutely. I just did a podcast. I'm gonna share I'm starting my podcast back up. That podcast is called The Ramble Transmissions. I started doing it a few years back, and then I kind of got bored with it. But I decided I want to start it back up because it's really good for me. It's therapeutic, and some people like it, and it's nice to express yourself and have a small audience check in. It's nice. But I talked about this, and maybe I won't say much tonight, and I'll just share the podcast, and it'll be good. But I was gutted. I'm still gutted. If I let my mind drift to thoughts of him, and if I see the photos, I keep fighting to look. I want to just keep staring at his photos because he was such a fucking handsome dude, and such a sweet. If you got to know his personality, you just the whole package was like, how the fuck did we get this lucky? How on that crazy fateful day when I just happened to step outside my front door, stretching. I wasn't even like fully. I think I was in my the shorts that I sleep in. My hair is all over, every which way. My beard looks like, shit. And I'm not even sure I want to be awake yet. And I see this stray dog running around across the street. I'm like, what the fuck? It's the craziest thing. The whole story was crazy. Some of you guys know. You kind of followed it. We were really sharing it online, and we had so many people like asking us, is everything good? What's going on? Are you guys gonna adopt him? Is he healthy? Is he this? Is he that? And it's been a big roller fucking coaster, And then we finally adopted him after kind of thinking we weren't going to adopt him, and it was like a little over a month of just nothing but just sweetness and fun, and it's been great to watch, how he and our girl dog Poppy were starting to get along and really fall in love with each other. Our friends were really they're getting to meet him, and they were getting, really, really fond of him themselves. The whole thing was like, okay, I guess we're in this. I know you were. I know, man. That's the thing. It's like, I can't even think about you guys who have been there with us, because we got so many sweet, amazing messages, not just publicly, but also privately, from people who were just absolutely heartbroken, and they didn't even get to meet him. So yeah, man, I figured since I'm kind of on my own right now while Allison is away, the best thing I could do is just work as much as I can and not focus on this big hollow feeling I have in my heart right now because, of Jackson's passing. It also just doesn't make sense because he was just such a healthy kid, and to think that there was something maybe going on in him, genetically that we just could never even have a clue about. It really is scary and sad. But that's what it appears to be. The vets were pretty confident that it wasn't poison and that he didn't ingest something that was deadly for him. They just think now that it was just something that was going on inside of him that they just could not see, or we wouldn't have been able to see in like the basic, checkups and tests, which we did. He had all of his vaccinations, and we did everything. We're like, even if I was like not wanting to go down and do things, Allison is on it. She's like, nope, we're gonna get heartworm, everything. She's really, really good at this stuff. She had to learn to be good because of our other dogs, Lulu and Hank. She really learned how to become a great dog mom. And, yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, like I said, I don't really want to... I think it's not a good idea for me to talk too much about it because I start to get a little bluesy, and I don't want to do that right now. I want to stay upbeat. I'm talking myself into being upbeat and talking to my buddies here. So I started this new job on Monday. I'm in training. I have 3 days of training. Tomorrow will be the third and final day of training. Today, I've been getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and going to end at 7 and working for training for like 3 hours. And I don't know, man. I think I like it. I think I'm going to like it a hell of a lot more than I like my other part-time job. I mean, I do a lot of other jobs. I do a lot of driving jobs, but my other job is just, as I've stated time and time again, and I know people are probably getting sick of hearing me go on and on about how grueling and how physically punishing it is, because it is, And I don't want to do it for very long. I really don't. I need to not do it. I finally came to that conclusion over the last few days. I like the people I work with. I even like the company. They've been really good and fair with me, but I'm old and out of shape, and I've got a bad back. I got bad knees. My elbows, my shoulders, they're stronger than they've been in a long time. But it's work that I'm just not. I'm kind of slowly killing myself. Not to be super dramatic. And I think it's just best that I do something that's a little less intense. Also, I don't know. I just, it's not that I want a career with any of these companies, but I want to have a sense that if I want to stick with these companies for a while, there may be opportunities for me to grow or, climb up the ladder, if you will, and, do something different, do something more interesting. So, yeah, I think with this new gig, I think I have the opportunity to do that as soon, assuming that I will be a good employee, and I'll do good, and we'll see. I got to spend a lot of time today kind of trying out what my position entails, and I like it. It's fast paced. It's a little physical. I'm definitely running around. I'm not just sitting in at a desk, which is something I don't think I could ever do at this point. I do that enough now, just at home and in the studio, and here, you know, doing paintings. You know, I'm always sitting. I did attempt to try to paint standing up a while back, and it just didn't work very well. I'll fix these eyes in a second. I'm not gonna do this for very long. I gotta go, actually. Yeah, I gotta keep track of the time. I gotta go pick up Poppy at her Uncle Tom's house. Take her home and then get ready to go hit the sack so I can get up at 6 o'clock in the morning again. What am I doing getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning? Jesus Christ. Who have I become? Alright, let me do one more thing with his little feets. Or her little feets. I think this is a dude. I think I'm gonna just call it. Started on this. I'm not sure what it is yet. It almost looks profane, you know? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. This is another one I'm in the middle of. I got all these like crazy pieces unfinished. I gotta finish them. I'm tired of not I'm tired of not finishing shit like more quickly. I used to work so much faster. I work fairly fast, but it's just like I stop and start and stop and start, and it's just sometimes that's just not the best way. I mean, sometimes that's the only way, but all right. Let me do this one last thing, and then I'm gonna call it a night. And hey, man, I'm glad you guys are here. I don't, you know, I hope it's not disappointing. You know, I don't want to disappoint anybody. But it's nice to have people checking in and saying hi. I appreciate that. Let's see if I can have you guys watch me do this. It's really fucking stormy here in Sacramento. It's like, for those of you that don't live here, it's really windy and rainy and cold as shit. And we have one of our fur kids is an outdoor kitty. She wouldn't have any other way. We actually inherited her. She belonged to one of the tenants of the house that we now live in, and they couldn't bring her. They couldn't move. They were moving far away, and they really couldn't bring her. And so they kind of just left her because she kind of, you know, she belongs on that street. Everybody in our neighborhood knows who she is, and at some point, I think everybody's kind of taken care of her and fed her. And one guy that lived across the street actually built a little house for her that she slept in on his porch. And he moved, but before he did, he stopped by and asked us if we wanted to take the house, and because she was coming to our house a lot, and we said, yeah, sure, why not? So we basically are her caretakers now. But you know, she stays outside. She just doesn't seem to want to. She doesn't seem to have any real interest in being inside. Sometimes she does. Sometimes she'll want to come in, but now it's like, you know, there's all these political issues with our other animals. We got to make sure that they're, you know, they get along and they're not fighting, and you know, it doesn't take much to add to the chaos. You know, I'm in Sanger. Where's Sanger at? Oh, you said it. 25 minutes from Fresno. Oh yeah. Well, so my wife is in Bakersfield tonight. She said that yeah, it was really windy. I guess it's just the entire state is right now. It's a big storm. My Millie Kitty, my porch cat. Oh, yeah, our cat's name's Moggy. Our porch kitty is named Moggy. She's beautiful. She's a Norwegian forest cat, and she looks. I love raccoons. If anybody knows me, they know that I have this love for raccoons. My dream is to be able to have one. I know that that's not really it's not really very practical or realistic. But I love them. I think they're the sweetest little animals on the planet. And I know they can be mean. I know that. I've seen them be mean. They've been mean to me. But our Moggy cat is big and kind of round, and she looks almost like a raccoon. And we say, well, that's probably the closest we're ever going to get to having a raccoon. And she could almost look fat, but when you pet her, she's not fat. She's just really furry. She's got a ton of hair, and she's really thick. She's built very, very well, like a little tank. And she's amazing. She's just a beautiful, beautiful cat, and very sweet. She loves to be petted, and she's a talker. She just talks constantly. I mean, you can have conversations with her, and she's totally. She's into it. And I'd love to bring her in. I just think at this point now, she's been outside for so long, I don't think she'd like it. I think it'd be really fucking traumatic. I let her in one time, and she looked like she was like having a panic attack. She just didn't seem to like it that much. So I don't know. So I've been tonight. I spent some time trying to reinforce her out little house that's on our porch. Because it's open. It's like a box that we just, with an open face, and we have like blankets and a pillow, and normally she just lays in there. It's really comfortable, and it's Sacramento. It's usually warm here, or at least bearable. So she's furry. She's gonna stay warm. But since it's really cold now, I worry about her. So I was out there putting like pieces of, plywood and extra tarp to kind of surround it so that it would keep her from getting wet and cold. And I think I did it. Tomorrow when it's daylight, I'm gonna go check it out and make sure that she's staying comfy in there. Because man, you don't want your outdoor kitty to be out there cold and wet. She showed up again after the puppies were born with a broken leg, and she's now fat after being forced indoors to rehab. Oh yeah, they get fat when you bring them in for sure. I don't know. We're not real big on having our animals outside, just because we learned the hard way that at some point they're gonna accidentally get hit, or somebody's gonna do something mean to them. So we're pretty protective. But sometimes you just gotta let Mother Nature take its course. And in the case of Moggy, our cat, she's just happy. Everybody stops and pets her and talks to her, and she's got her own. She's got she can go to the bathroom whenever she wants. She can eat whenever she wants. She's pretty lucky, and she's not afraid. I've looked out the window and seen raccoons and skunks and possum and other dogs and other cats, and she's fearless. She's not really afraid of anybody or anything, which maybe is not good, but she's an amazing cat. But I'm a little concerned tonight because it's cold and wet and windy. Oh, hey, thanks, man. I'm glad you're here, man. After our conversation on Facebook, I was like, all right, I gotta walk away from the politics. It's just, what's the point, really? I mean, essentially, most of us are on the same side, and I know this, and I really am not trying to push any buttons. I guess the older human, the guy that's been around for 58 years and has been through this cycle over and over again politically. My first time I voted in a national election, I think it was 1980. It was when Reagan and Mondale, Walter Mondale, I think, were squaring off. And I remember going down to get the big Mondale Ferraro sticker, and I was very proud. You know, I was like, all right, you know, I'm finally going to vote, and I'm going to have a say, and I'm going to vote against this dictator Ronald Reagan, you know, and I think about it. I mean, I was so idealistic back then, and for so many years, man, it was like, shit. I had my head in the clouds, and I think back on how I was looking at things then, and I was like, you know, I mean, in a way, I'm glad, and I have no regrets. But it's funny, somebody fairly recently sort of like implied that, you know, like, well, centrists like you, Kevin Seconds, and I'm like, dude, if you think I'm a centrist, if you think that I want this fucking political system like it is, and you think that I don't want it to change, and you don't think that I've had a part in trying to change it, you're nuts, and you haven't paid attention. But I'm also not as idealistic as I used to be. I'm also a little more pragmatic than I used to be. And honestly, you know, there's no indication that anything really truly ever changes in these elections. Things, you know, like there's a sentimental thing going on. Everybody gets really excited and really revved up and becomes woke, or fights the I don't know what I'm trying to say. I really should just shut up. Sometimes it's like talking about this stuff just hurts my brain. But anyway, yeah, it's nice to do this and have people come in and say hi. Good people. I don't know why I did red at first. Nobody has red eyeballs, do they? This song is that line. It says, "I'm sitting on a cushy chair in center field," and that line is inspired by when I was on that Rancid tour. They played San Diego. They played at the stadium where the Padres play. They didn't play in the stadium. They played in the big lot outside, which is the usual deal. But they gave the all of the touring musicians and the crew all of the locker rooms and the administration offices and like the skyboxes or whatever they're called. They gave us access to all that. So like I literally had my own dressing room that was a skybox. My dressing room, I could open the door and the window, and I was in center field. Like I was behind center field, like almost ground level. It was crazy. I remember my buddy Steve Soto and his lovely girlfriend Stephanie came and visited me, and we were hanging out. We were just laughing at the whole thing because I was like, look at this stupidity. Look at how crazy this is. This is like the most cush I'll ever have it on tour. Which is I address this in this podcast that I'm gonna share soon. I knew that it was gonna be like the great, the best tour I've ever been on and I'll ever be on again. I absolutely love you, sir. Keep on keeping on. Also, my wife is with me and screaming to you in appreciation. We'll tell her hello, or I guess I'm telling her hello and thank you. I'm gonna do more of these. I like doing them, and they're very therapeutic. And it's like a I don't know. I always feel very pleased after I'm done. I'm like, all right, I got to paint, I got to chat, I got to play some music, my music, my royalty-free music that nobody's gonna sue me over. Everything's good. Allison and I, she gets back tomorrow, and she and I and our dear friend Tom, who we refer to as Unky Tom because he helps us take care of our pet kids when we're in need. He's always there for us. I mean, he's been at the vets with us. He and our other friend Kyle went into the room with Jackson when they were euthanizing him. We couldn't. Couldn't do it. But they went in, and Jackson was already unconscious. You know, he had just lost a lot of brain activity, and they went in with him and held him while they applied the euthanasia. And it was they've done it a couple times now for us, and that's real friendship right there. Because I don't know that I could do it. I'd like to think that I could, but I don't think I could do it. I think my own fucked upness would just not allow me to do it. But anyway, the three of us are going to go to see the Mr. Rogers movie tomorrow night. We got tickets. And I know people are going, oh, Mr. Rogers, and Tom Hanks sucks, Mr. Rogers sucked. And it's like, come on, man. Just relax for a little while. You don't have to be so fucking serious about everything. My God. I mean, how the fuck do you hate on Mr. Rogers? Even if he was a religious guy, who gives a shit? I fucking love Tom, an amazing human being and musician. He is, man. He's like one of the best. He's severely unappreciated. I mean, those of us, if you're a friend of Tom's and you've known Tom, you know how much you love him and how great he is. But I feel like sometimes he's just... he's really underrated, and he's one of the funniest people I've ever met. He's got one of the best sense of humor. He's got a great sense of humor, and I appreciate that. He always surprises me with how quick and witty he is. And yeah, he's written some amazing songs that are underrated. People, because it's punk rock or pop punk or whatever, I think people just kind of downplay it. But man, he can write a great line. Very melodic, and he's a good dude. But anyway, we're going to go see the Mr. Rogers film tomorrow night. It's like, I think we all need the break from... He's been such a rock in this whole ordeal with Jackson. He really has been there through it all. He's been great helping me with Poppy, because when I go to work, I don't want to just leave her at the house by herself for like 4 or 5 hours. So he's been great with taking her out to the park and letting her, she loves him. She comes... The minute she sees him, she's just like, she just comes alive. She's so happy to see him all the time. It's very sweet. A lot of these songs are songs I've never played live. I wrote them, I recorded them, I put them up online, and that was it. I never returned to them. And so when I do these and I play these songs, it's like hearing a brand new song. It's weird. It's a weird thing that I do. I'm a weird guy. I want to go see Mr. Rogers too. I mean, look, how can it be bad? You know what I mean? I'm sure of course it's going to be probably corny a little bit, and I don't even care. I don't go see movies, much anymore because I miss. There's a certain kind of filmmaking that I miss that just doesn't exist anymore. But, I mean, come on, man. I grew up with Mr. Rogers. Well, so many of us grew up with Mr. Rogers. And there's something about that sort of simplicity and that sort of, unconditional, kindness and joy and love that you just... I mean, you have to be a pretty fucking grizzled... cynical, angry person to just hate on that. I don't get it. And I keep reading all this stuff like, no fucking way would I ever go see that fucking dumb movie. It's like, wow, you're really passionate about that. It's like, I mean, I get it. If you don't want to see a movie, don't go see a fucking movie. There's plenty of movies I'm not going to go see, but I don't know. We're all so silly sometimes. All right. The song ended. Maybe that's the cue to get the fuck out of here. Thank you. I appreciate that, Matt. I never get sick of painting owls. I should really be sick of them because I've painted a lot of these little buggers. But I gotta say, man, people are always asking me about them. They're always like, these and robots, and now raccoons. I get a lot of people asking me about raccoons. I'm working on another one that's actually a commission piece. It's a theme-based one, and the person already paid me and everything for it, but I just haven't had any energy to do this until just tonight. It's the first time in a while that I've in like almost going on 2 now. I painted the other night, so I can't say that. I don't know. I just haven't really felt like it. It's just been doing creative stuff. Usually is just the first thing on my list of what things that I want to do. Anyway, I think that's it. I gotta go and I gotta go pick up the pup. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. I love you. I appreciate you, and I hope that we'll get to hang out, if not in real life, online somewhere or at a gig or whatever. But have a great evening, and if you're in an area where the weather's really, really severe, please take care of yourself and all that you need to, and we'll talk again soon. Good night. Thank you.